Hey guys, how's it going? This is Hyperion here. I'm just gonna be going over how to play Resto Druid in PvP. Maybe you're wanting to make a Resto Druid, or you already have one and you're not sure how to exactly heal yet. If you want to switch specs, or if you just got to level 90 on how to exactly to heal in PvP, I want to give you guys some pointers on how to do it, and show you guys what the spells do and how the best to use them. I'm going to start out with Rejuvenation. It's one of your most important heals. It sets up pretty much everything. If you got to keep this on you and yourself, if you're doing arenas, you got to keep this on you and them at the same time. And when you have this on you, you can cast Swift Mend, and Swift Mend gives you, see, 50k. Sometimes it crits for quite a bit, but the instant cast is the best part. But when you sit in the circle, you do get a little bit of healing, but it's not much. It's not really worth sitting in there if you have somebody on you. It's better to try to kite them. Another good heal over time you got to keep on you or whoever they're targeting is your Life Bloom. It can stack up to 3 times, and it heals you over time, but then when it expires, it gives you a big chunk of healing, 115k. Actually, a good glyph for this is Glyph of Blooming. Increase the bloom heal of your Life Bloom when it expires by 50%. It's the time of the heal over time is reduced, but it's actually better that way because this kind of gives you some of the burst healing you need as a druid, since most of your heals are slower. Nourish. It's just it's not really that good of a heal for PvP. See, 23k. That's not going to do a whole lot. And Mop, since basic attacks are pretty much in for that, and it's a slow cast time. If your heal over times kind of aren't doing the job and you need to cast a spell, Regrowth is what you're going to want to use. It's a quick cast time and it heals for quite a bit more than Nourish. Wild Growth is more of a PvE, or you can use it in Battlegrounds or RBGs. It's really good too, but it heals 5 people. So I mean, like in 2s or 3s, I mean, I still use it, just a little bit extra healing, but it's not as big as some of your other spells. It's just a little extra heal for everybody. And Entangling Roots, you can root somebody in spot for 30 seconds. That's a really long time, but like a lot of times they cleanse, and it doesn't last very long. When they get cleansed, and it's pretty much gone. Barkskin, it's actually a really good defensive ability. This can only be used on yourself, but it reduces the damage you take by 20%, and then there's a glyph that reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by 25% while Barkskin is active, which is really big because there's so many classes that crit so crazy in this game. It's really a big part. Whenever it's off cooldown, I pretty much use it, almost always, if I'm being targeted. Iron Bark is another huge defensive ability. You can use this on yourself or on some party or raid member. Target skin becomes as tough as ironwood, reducing all damage taken by 20%, lasts 12 seconds. That is a really good defensive ability. You always, like, if say your friend's being targeted in 2s, you put this on them, and it really helps your mana, because that just slows down on how much you have to heal them. I pretty much use it when that comes off cooldown. I usually always use it instantly. But another thing to note, that when you have the PvP set, the 4P set reduces the cooldown of your Iron Bark ability by 90 seconds. That is a really nice perk. 30-second cooldown, and every time it lasts 12 seconds, and it's a 30-second cooldown. So pretty much every 15, you have to wait like 15 seconds to put it back on somebody, and it reduces all damage by 20%. It's really good. A good technique if you're getting targeted a lot and you get silenced or something, and you just hit your Displacer Beast. It teleports the druid up to 20 yards and activates Cat Form and Prowl, which drops all targeting. If somebody's targeting you, they'll lose target. A lot of times when they have their dots on you, though, you'll just pretty much come right out of stealth. But it drops their target for like half a second, which is really big for like if a hunter's targeting you and all his pets are on you and you displace, he's got to retarget you and get his pets back on you. So it's a really helpful ability. And 5.2, they're going to change it around a little bit. It doesn't activate Prowl anymore, but it'll increase your speed by 50% for like 5 seconds or something. I'm not exactly sure how long it'll be. But another good ability is Typhoon. It's a really good ability. They're actually increasing the cooldown on it in 5.2, but I like it. Just like if you're in PvP, you can blow people off of the map. Like on Eye of the Storm, you can blow them off of the map. A lot of times it's helpful if somebody's on you and you get them off you too. And it also reduces their speed, so that's pretty big. And in RBGs, you always want to try, if they're on the flag trying to cap it, you just use it to interrupt them. Or you can interrupt spellcasters and arenas as well. Nature's Grasp. Pretty much when you use that, if a warrior's on you, he'll get rooted. And say he gets cleansed and he attacks you again, he'll get rooted again. And it's pretty good for when like a melee character is on you. Symbiosis. It's actually a pretty awesome part of being a druid. It creates a symbiotic link which grants the druid one ability belonging to the target's class, varying on the druid specialization. In Resto, some of the bigger ones you get is like if you do it on a mage, you'll get Ice Block. On a Death Knight, you'll get their Icebound Fortitude, which lets you not be able to get stunned for like 5 seconds, which is pretty big. And you're immune to stuns. It's kind of like an extra trinket. I usually use that when I use Tree Form, so I can't be stunned while I'm in Tree Form. Nature Swiftness, I skipped that earlier. This pretty much just gives you an instant cast spell. So I'll use it, and then I'll use Regrowth, and it's an instant cast spell, 118,000. That's pretty good. In PvP, with the reduced healing when in combat, it's not that good, as good, but it's still a really nice defensive spell. You can also use it as an offensive spell though. You can use it to instant cast Cyclone. Like say you want to heal or Cyclone their healer or one of their DPS. If their DPS is already, you just Cyclone them, which is pretty helpful. Or you can use it as an instant cast Root or Healing Touch. But it's really helpful. Ursul's Vortex is a pretty nice ability. See, if you use it, and then they'll all get pulled back into it. Now I'm gonna have to kill these guys. But it actually helps out quite a bit. It like pretty much gives you 2 interrupts. I know I gotta kill these guys. I shouldn't have done that. So it's actually really good because you put it down and then say they're casting a spell, you use Typhoon, they go out of it, it interrupts that spell, they get pulled back into it, which interrupts them again if they're trying to cast. So it's really helpful, and it can hit up to, what is there max people it can pull. It just, pretty much everybody it hits, it does it. And it's pretty helpful for interrupting people. Cyclone, like I was talking about earlier, interrupts people. They can't take damage when they're in their Cyclone though, so that's kind of a bad part. But if it's really good for healers because they can't use anything, they'll have to use a trinket. It goes on a cooldown though. Like the first time you use it, it's 6 seconds, and then it goes down. The next time you use it, it's like 4, and then the next time it's like 2. It's really helpful though. You gotta use that a lot. It's one of your biggest CCs. If you're not using that in arenas or RBGs, you really need to start doing it. Moonfire, it's just a dot you put on somebody, does damage over time, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And Resto and Boomkin, it does quite a bit of damage, but it's just, I usually put that on like if we're doing arenas and there's like a healer and it's like lasting like in like a 10-minute arena, I'll usually put that on them and everybody just to do a little bit more damage. Tranquility, it heals everyone. The top, it's like the lowest 5 people in the party or raid within 40 yards with Tranquility. It does quite a bit of healing. It's not that good in PvP because if you get interrupted, it doesn't do a whole lot. But if you can get away in like RBGs or BGs and do it without anybody seeing you do it, it's actually really helpful. Arenas, I hardly ever use it. raids, it's really useful because if there's like 30 people like doing shove or whatever, and you use that, it pretty much brings everybody up to full health. It's a really nice spell to have. Nature's Cure. It pretty much takes away any magic, curse, or poison effects, and also it takes away slows. Dark Flight activates your true form, increasing movement speed by an additional 40%, which that's a racial for Worgens. So if you're like a night elf, you won't have that. And I just have my Hellstone there for when warlocks put down Hellstones. It's helpful to have it on your action bar to get some extra healing. You don't have to try to find it in your bags. Tree of Life is shapeshift into a Tree of Life, increasing healing done by 15%, increasing your armor by 120%, and gaining protection from polymorph effects. This is the reason druids are so good is because they can do this. In arenas, if you couldn't use Tree of Life in arenas, druids would be next to useless, because as soon as a warrior goes and bursts on somebody, it's if you get 1 CC, they're gonna die unless you can pop Tree Form. Tree Form gets you to have instant cast regrowth. I also have my trinket and I'll show you my trinket, or my macro, sorry. But I have the Incarnation Tree of Life, Nature's Vigil, which I'll show you what that does. Increases all damage and healing done by 20% for 30 seconds, so that helps out a lot. And then I have my trinket, and then I have Icebound Fortitude, which I get from a Death Knight when I use Symbiosis on him, and I run arenas with a Death Knight quite a bit, so I have that in my macro. Tree of Life, it makes you regrowth or instant cast, Entangling Roots are instant cast. You can stack your Life Bloom on more than one person, and Wild Growth can affect 2 additional targets while you're in tree form, so it can actually hit 7 people. And Fairy Fire, I use this a lot more in Boomkin than I do in Resto, but if there's a rogue and he's coming and you see him in arenas or RBGs, you put this on him, they won't be able to go invisible or stealth. So it's actually really helpful to put on rogues or druids or pretty much anybody who can go stealth. It helps out quite a bit. Wild Mushrooms. These are for more PvE. They don't do a whole lot. See, I'll show you how much healing to do right here. See it? 877. That it doesn't do a whole lot. It's kind of a waste of time in PvP. In PvE, if you're running really low on mana, and yeah, because I mean it hits everybody, and like if you're doing a raid, it hits everybody. So I mean that can actually come in quite a bit of handy. And Might of Urzok increases current and maximum health by 30% for 20 seconds. Activates Bear Form. It's actually really helpful because in Bear Form you already get more health when you go into Bear Form. So when you use this, see 300 or 539k, and then you can use Frenzied Regeneration, which you get some more healing. And then you come out of it and you keep some extra health. Like say you go down to like 300k health, and then you use that, and you automatically go back into your normal form. You will actually get a pretty big sized heal. Wrath. It's pretty much one of the only like damaging spells that druids have, if they don't go into cat form anyway. And then you got your Innervate, which you regenerate 10% of the caster's maximum mana over 10 seconds. And I got a Cyclone macro, which just does my target, and then Mass Resurrection, which is a guild 25 level perk. And then Mark of the Wild increases friendly target strength, agility, intellect by 5%. Pretty much always keep that on you, and I didn't have it on me that whole video, so my heals are a little bit better with it on. Gives me some more intellect. And that's about it for Resto Druids. I'll probably be coming out with a video for Boomkins, and I'll actually be doing some game film eventually and some commentaries in arenas, because I find that really helpful to do. When I see somebody in arenas showing like what they do in arenas, it's actually really helpful to see how somebody else does it.